All right, this is the first ever GCFFL podcast. We're going to be going through all the divisions, starting with the Potato South. We have with us Rick Jordan, Dave Smutty, Dave Jordan, Nick Steamboat, Jones J. Jones, Ron McGann, hosting and moderating. First up, the Potato South, Quackenbush Crush, the Seahags, and the Ship of Fools. We'll start with Rick with some thoughts on each team.
Well, Quackenbush Crush had strong keepers going in that first overall spot, it's pretty evident. But also, Brian had a great class. Richardson aside, I really like the Antonio Brown pick. I really like getting the 49ers defense. I don't love a lot of his other picks, but he's just so deep and yeah, he goes so deep at every position.
He's a very big fan of going deep.
I think I've heard Wilson from the Giants is a moron, but I think that's another potential guy. I personally didn't like the way Palmer looked, but I won't go through this whole roster. I think he's clearly the best team in this division and also the best team in the conference and maybe the best team in the league. As far as the competitors go, Mike Fisher had a good start to the draft. I love that he didn't got a hand. The only thing he wasn't impatient about was drafting Cutler. Flacco, yeah, that's okay for a backup. I don't really like Reggie Bush, even though he had a great season last year. I do like Ben Jarvis for number 2 because I have the opportunity that he had in New England, but they're still on a running team. I think they'll have a good season. And as far as wide receivers, I think A.J. Green is going to quickly be a top 5 guy. And I think Brandon Marshall is a top 10 guy when playing with Cutler as long as he doesn't get suspended. And Gates, last time Vincent Jackson wasn't in San Diego, Gates had a huge year, so if his foot stays healthy, that looks good too. And then Ship of Fools, Manning, I'm not sold. But he's got Schaub, who could easily be the best backup that someone drafted. So not a lot of concern there. More concern is Pearson coming back healthy. I think he will. And Blackman, I think he's great talent, but I don't think it matters when he's got Gabbard throwing him the ball. And Tony Gonzalez and Owen Daniels, those are some old tight ends. But Gonzalez is going to have another good year. I think his Rams' offense will be good. Smart, what's your take on Potato South?
I guess we'll start at the top of the division. He is Quackenbush Crush, the top of the division, and as Rick said, possibly the top of the entire league. Romo, he's not a top 5, top tier quarterback, but he is up there high enough that that won't lose him points there. Running back, he's got 3 guys on his team that would probably start on most teams, and a little surprised he didn't pick a 5th running back with all those wide receivers. Dave Wilson, I like him, but I don't know if that's not a lot of depth if he has an injury. Yeah, it's a good 5, but I don't know if not they got his 4, and the fact that he doesn't even have a 5 might be a concern for him that he wants to address later. But, if it's something he wants to answer with trades, he does have a lot of bullets in the trade gun at the receiver position with Demaryius Thomas, Craig Jennings, Demarius Moore for a big year, Antonio Brown, Brandon LaFell, even another one. Not big on Golden State, the rest of the receivers I like a lot. Tight end, obviously, Gronkowski, lock him up for double-digit touchdowns, most likely. But Ed Dixon, that's kind of a possibility. A lot of people talking about Baltimore trying to use the as a model, start to use 2 tight ends now. With a strong defense and, taking Hanson kicks for a high-powered offense. So, as much as I dislike Brian as a person, I got to put him up there as the top team in the league. Moving on to Seahags, like Rick said, started the draft strong. After beer about 12 though, Jeff got a little weaker when he started drafting Mexican terrorist Alshon Jeffrey. But I like the Ben Jarvis Green Ellis pick. It's not a sexy pick, but it's a good pick, solid pick. It's Jones Drew holding out and Reggie Bush being a guy who's been injured many times in the past. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis was a good, strong picker in there. Didn't go bear crazy early, but he got his Bennett and Jeffrey and those guys in at the end. I like the aggressive move for Gates. I thought that was an aggressive move, but it was a good move for his franchise. And he's playing for this year. It's good to see. The ship of fools. Peyton Manning worries me, but he covered that up pretty well with drafting Shaw. Peterson also has questions, but he's smart pick there, picking up Gerhardt. And I thought the Ingram pick was also strong with him. Justin Blackman, possibly the most questionable draft choice in our entire draft at 5. I understand wanting a guy and wanting to get a guy and making sure you get your guy, but could have waited till at least round 2 or even that the 10th overall pick and improved himself a little more at receiver by that. But this is Brandon Green, who might argue with his choices. Tight end, yeah. A couple old guys there, a couple guys with bad injuries. We'll see. Seabass Doug's a great kicker, and Texans D, I think they're going to be strong this year. So top to bottom, I think you got a possibility of all 3 teams making the playoffs in Skato. But one of them is probably going to be the odd team out, and I'm not sure whether that'll be the Fools or the Hags.
Jones, what do you think how do you think the division is going to shake out?
Let's see, Potato South here we're talking, right? Talking, I guess, all right, we'll start with Brian's team. I think we all know there's a quarterback league, and if this kid has one weakness, that's certainly it. I think Carson Palmer's going to be his starter come around week 4 when he's lighting it up and Tony Romo is clutching his ribs or something. And, just looking down, Jay Cutler, Peyton Manning, if you have the 3rd best quarterback in your division, that's a big old weak spot right there. So, Marshall Lynch, Ray Rice, they're solid. You're getting out of them. Ken Richardson, that's a pick he had to make. But I agree with Rick. There's Steve Wilson, as a Giants fan, I read about these guys all the time, and this guy's fucking not even half retarded. He's full retarded. A drill sergeant like Tom Coughlin is not going to play some moron who can't pick up a blitz. So, I was looking for the future, but I think that's just a wasted pick right there. Receivers, they don't knock my socks off. I think this Greg Jennings gets a lot of hype. There's a lot of balls that go around. It's kind of like he's the Marcus Colston of that team. He's good, but man, there's just so many other guys who get the ball there. So Demaryius Thomas, who knows? That remains to be seen. But Gronkowski, I liked what he's under that deal when I first saw it. But I guess the more you look at it, you still got a guy who can potentially keep. But I like Mike Fisher's trade for Antonio Gates. I thought that was bold. I think we all on the potato side, thought he was going to blow it when he made that big trade up. But I think he stuck the landing on that there. And I got to say, I like his receivers the best out of anybody in the division. Blackman, hey, who knows what's going to end up with that. But, a first-year rookie, that's tough. His running backs are pretty solid. I think Green Ellis, that was a good, smart pick there because Jones, Drew, or Bush, you're not going to have both of them on any given week, I don't think. And I think Cream's the real interesting team. He's got age, with Peyton Manning and, Forte Steve Smith. But at the same time, when you look at Blackman and Adrian Peterson, he's kind of playing for next year, too. So it's just like, can they put it together? AP, you all know it takes 2 years to come back from that injury, but, we've seen Tony Gonzalez, Peyton Manning, and Adrian Peterson carry Cream to a lot of wins, so to doubt him would be foolish.
That's interesting. You're the first person I think in the last 3 days who's kind of been a little bit off on this Quackenbush Crush bandwagon, and everyone else is pretty much conceded or runaway division win and probably heavy favorite in the conference, and you seem to have some doubts, and I think you brought up some good points. If you ignore the draft and just look at everyone's starting lineup, it's really his margin over the other 2 teams in the division is a lot smaller. I would say he's still the heavy favorite because I just don't like the other two teams backups at all. They have any injuries. I don't think they have enough depth to compete with him. So moving on to the potato. This is the Chick-fil-A white meat. Muddy, we got the appetizer flyers, the fighting Wagcock, and the Wasp Chaos.
All right. I guess I'll start with the biggest member of the white meat. We'll start with the appetizer flyers. Having Cam Newton as your quarterback is a good thing in the touchdown league, especially where rushing touchdowns are worth twice as much as passing touchdowns. So that's a good start for him. Not really that thrilled with Ryan Fitzpatrick as a backup. If he does, Cam's a big guy, he's going to stand on his butt. Any quarterback that moves around opens himself up to a lot more hits than the guys that stay in the pocket. So if they do get an injury accuracy, I don't see Ryan Fitzpatrick lighting anyone's scoreboard up. Chris Johnson, nothing not flag about that. He should have a good year. That team's back on the uprise, I think. That's a nice player, but I don't know. I personally am not as thrilled with Peyton Hillis as I know the Appetizer Flyers management team is, but they got the guy they wanted him, so good for them there. I do like wide receivers they got there, starting receivers that are going to be Des Bryant and Julio Jones, and then that first back. This is a very strong, young crew, with what should be good quarterbacks throwing on the ball. Davis, any given day, he can go out and have a great game. And, here's the defense. Nothing really worth even talking about.
You're right.
Neither are defenses. Fighting Wagcock. This team, it's a goddamn train wreck. You got questions all over the place. I mean, Matt Stafford, great quarterback, should do well, but he's one injury away from starting Alex Smith and Christian Ponder, and Matt Stafford hasn't been the most durable quarterback in the past. Coming back from the ACL injury, he's had time than guys like AP or Mendenhall, those guys, but it's still an ACL injury, which the problem with that was when he took that for Aaron Hernandez for that first pick, he put himself in a situation where the other running backs, other than Jamal Charles, has got Brown, Hightower, Blunt, and Jacobs. A who's who of guys that were decent running backs a couple of years ago, maybe, but nothing I want on my team right now. Fitzgerald and Walker, good. Another reason to not like Hernandez, we've already got Walker, and I'm loading up on there. Not a good addition to that team. The back, the wide receivers, Titus Young, Titus Young, I like the upside there, but can't get him off and Sidney Rice. If taking two back at tight ends, questionable move. I think maybe all those funnels might have added up at that point with that. And again, Packers defense, who gives a shit. Moving on to the last chaos. I think this possibly the best team in the meet. Guys who just let the draft come to him. He had a strong draft. This is the guy that I think had possibly the second best team in the league. Just the fact that he had almost no value in Kenny Britt, who trouble with the law, trouble with injuries, and trouble keeping his mouth shut are definitely going to keep him off the field this year. But starts right at the top with Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback in the league in my opinion, and Matt Flynn, decent backup. Matthews obviously had that collarbone injury, but he's sitting right there with LaShawn McCoy, Fred Jackson. Other than that, running back, he's got a few questionable running backs, but he's got three solid ones right there at the top. At receiver, I think he did a great job of covering up Kenny Britt. With he could start Miles Boston and Dwayne Bowe. Lance Moore's always passing the ball to him. Theo, I think, was worth a flyer, and Runner Hanson's a young guy playing with a young quarterback that could really work out. It's all those guys just show what a strong draft the guys have had. Brett Selleck, he got that in late. He's in position. He's still got a guy who can put up big numbers. And Fleener, everybody that saw that first preseason game just looked terrific. It is a game, but Slinger could be another value pick for guys over there. And he's got a kicker kicking for a good team and a defense that usually scores points. So I'd say Geyser is probably the class of the meat, and without a doubt, he's the class of the white meat.
Just my take on the white meat real quick. I actually do like Patrick as a backup. They're doing a no-huddle offense where he's basically reading calling play on the line. Not a hurry-up no-huddle like they used to run with Jim Kelly, but Harvard dude, whatever. I think the Bills are going to have a good season, and Fitzpatrick will have good numbers for a backup. But yeah, it wasn't a position of importance with Newton, even though maybe it should have been. Chris Johnson, I think he's going to rebound, not 2,000 yards rebound, but I think he's going to have a big season. But after that, I don't like these running backs at all. I don't know. I mean, maybe Turbin gets some play. It's Lynch, ends up getting, but I don't like these sort of running backs at all. But I think Chris Johnson's strong enough where I think he's going to finish as a top 4 running back, and that'll be enough. After that, Dave hit and had that this group of receivers is outstanding. It's the real strength of their team. Even their 5th guy at Todd, I think, is really good. It's a lot of potential. Anyone tied in with Aaron Rodgers has potential for big stats. Mark, I don't care what anyone says. He's still, you figure if Harbaugh said he's only play 15, 20 plays a game, shit, I think he'll still take the roof off the defense and still make ridiculous one-hand catches. And it looks like Manning prefers Decker to Mary Thomas. So I think this group of receivers is excellent. And Aaron Davis is a stud, but I think we should have tried to go a little younger at backup tight end. We'll see. That's a Dustin Keller. I'm not a big fan of him. But anyway, this team fucking sucks. Like, this is a passing league where you need strong quarterbacks and strong receivers. Like, you cannot just fucking bail on running backs. This is by far the worst running back of any team in the fucking league. It's horrible. It's horrible. I'm not going to waste any more time talking about it. And when you got a shit team, and you look and you have someone that's like begging to overplay for a player, and Blackhawk should slowly build and improve his team tremendously across the board. And he wasn't fucking drunk, the 3 weeks leading up to the draft when I was making ridiculous offers. So I think he hurt himself too, being too much of a homer. Kaskowski, yeah, okay, top kicker, but maybe you should have looked at getting some better depth instead of taking the hot kicker just because he plays for your favorite team. And then Hernandez pick, tight end is so deep. Like Sam said about the last half, they just waited on tight end, and they still look fine. I actually like Chandler as a tight end, and Olsen, but that Hernandez pick was a horrible pick of a great player. And that might not make sense, but with Luka there, and with so many other needs, and then you get Stafford, who had a great season last year, but you follow it with Connor and Smith. That's a joke. This is a horrible team. This is the Jones of the meat right here. Because he doesn't have all your next year draft picks. But it's a horrible fucking team. So whatever. Let me know when the fire sale starts, Wagner. And Wildcat, I don't hold it as high up. I think he's probably the 4th best team in the league. I mean, that's pretty high, but I think there's a little gap there between Steamboat, then Soy, then Geyser. But it's amazing how good his team is with that Matthews injury and with Britt looking like he might be in jail. Deion Lewis, Albany guy, got to give a 518 shout out. Got Fred Jackson late because Blackhawk, didn't take him when he should have. Starks, that's a stupid pick, but he won't make the roster. And, Aaron Rodgers. That's all I have to say about the team. Aaron Rodgers is going to have another huge season. And, Blackhawk sucks. That's all I got. So?
Yeah, Rick's pretty spot on there. Blackhawks team sucks. You can't compare my team to his team and say, that's just awful. I mean, just the Hernandez thing. I mean, just the running backs. I mean, your number one guy's coming off an ACL and Donald Brown. Come on, what's he ever done? I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a scramble for Larry Fitzgerald right about week 7 when he's out of playoff contention. That's the best thing he's got going for him. Freaking Geyser, I think Geyser, I'm surprised he wasn't in that poll. Whoever made that poll, it's between him and Brian Fisher who had the best draft. I mean, it seemed like all the good guys kept, kind of just falling to him, and it just worked out well for him. I mean, Swain Bo's a third receiver. I mean, I think Kansas City's going to have a pretty good year personally. I think they're getting a lot of players back that, there's a lot of injuries there last year, That's, I think that division's a little suspect too. So then Colvin's team, or the Colvin brothers, man, I just don't even know what to say about that. I mean, it seems like you had your team when you went into the draft and you didn't improve it at all. Like you had pretty good starters going in. But that's it. You got those 4 guys, and good luck.
I'll just quickly, other than Jones' last comments, everything else I pretty much agree with. Watts Chaos, I think they're going to have a lot of problems figuring out who to start. I see something like Fred Jackson has a 20-point week on his bench. So the next week he benches Ryan Matthews and starts Fred Jackson, and he does nothing. I see the same thing happening a lot at his receivers. He keeps on flip-flopping receivers off a good week because he's on a good throw, and he just keeps messing up, and that's why he's going to not win the division this year despite having the most talent. But to the Potato North, we got 2 of those 3 owners on, and we'll start. Rick.
Well, Jones is playing for next year, but I still think when you have Drew Brees, you're not out of any game. So, I'm going to start off by talking about the Portland Trailblazers and their sexy owner, probably the sexiest guy in our division. Now, you're never out of it with Breeze. Bradshaw, that's a homer pick. Jones looks at him through blue and red colored glasses. But, he's still good, but I wouldn't rely on him too much longer. He stole Ryan Williams from me, and I really liked Ryan Williams last year, and Wisenhunt runs the ball, so, Keener's knee ain't right. I think that could be a good pick. Ronnie Brown's just kind of funny, stick with the Geyser. And Gore, man, it seems like they just seem to bringing in free agents and drafting guys and just anything to help out fragile Frankie Gore. And I would, he's made of glass. I would just, he's a great player, but every week's got me holding the breath on him. And Colston's a bum. Reggie Wayne, I think he's still Reggie Wayne like Jones said when he drafted him. I think he'll have a good season actually. I mean he had a couple big games with Painter thrown to him last year. I think, Luck's not Manning, but he's better with Painter. So and Jared Cook was the number 1 guy I wanted going into the draft. And Fred Davis I think is a huge athlete that I think RG3, a lot of young quarterbacks use the tight ends as safety blankets or security blankets type of thing, safety nets. And I think Jones still good tight ends. He's got some young guys that could blow up like Cook, like Ryan Williams, and you still got Drew Brees. And Brandon Lloyd should have a good season, but he's not fucking Jerry Rice. And the Crafts, I thought it was okay considering how few picks I had. The Matt Ryan pick, for not keeping a quarterback, that's a top 12 quarterback. This team, is going to go as far as McFadden goes, as far as many games McFadden plays. And you could even tie that in with Andre Johnson too. So, not a lot of depth on this team. So LaSure still has potential to maybe be good. I liked how Beanie Wells played last year. And if they're both playing, then he's the goal line. Him and Brian Williams are playing, he's the goal line guy. He's a house. But to a lesser extent, I won games when Calvin Johnson just put up 18 points and stuff, and they help me there. And Gresham, I think Gresham is due for a breakout season. I really do. I think AJ Green's going to get a lot of coverage, and the next guy to pass it to is going to be Gresham. He was the first tight end drafted the same year Gronk and Jude Graham were drafted. They were in the same time by Gresham was the first one drafted. He was started Oklahoma. I think he's going to have a big year. But too many injury concerns on this team, and the Rams look like they're in rough shape. So Bradford doesn't give me a lot of confidence. And the final team is O'Mara, who I think has a great draft, has a great team. Rivers worries me. I think he might take a step back. Not that, Gates gets hurt. I don't have a lot of faith in the rest of those receivers. I thought the Montero Hardison pick was great. I thought the Ridley pick was great. He's a spoiled guy. I think that Saints offense will still be good. And Turner, hey, maybe he gives you one more year, but that's an older running back. I told his fleet smutty on the Jordy Nelson trade, get rid of Vincent Stubb Jackson. And Macklin seems to be having the same drugs that Magic Johnson has. And Torrey Smith's the number one receiver in Baltimore, I think, the playoff team. And he's got man love for Crabtree, but I don't know, whatever. And then Finley and Pettigrew, those are two great tight ends. I think O'Mara is deep and handsome. And I think he's got the best team in more.
All right. I'll start with the commitment to excrement. Obviously, as Rick said, he had a lack of picks. I think he used most of his picks fairly wisely. I think where he picked Matt Ryan, like he said, he got the last of a good starting quarterback who was young, and with them running that new offense in Atlanta, the hurry up, the no huddle, he could, and having Julio Jones and Roddy White at wide receiver, he could put up big numbers this year. Could, a lot of value there. I disagree with Rick on Beanie Wells. I think Beanie Wells is the biggest pussy Fisher. Beanie Wells won't play with a stub toe. If he puts his toe on the dresser on his way to the game, he's out for the week. So that guy's a fucking pussy. Derek McFadden is awesome. I think he is great. I think he looks great in the limited play I saw of him yesterday. I've always thought he's a great player. He does always seem to be battling injuries, though. Mikel LaShore, thought it was a little early where Rick took him, and you guys never put it down. As Rick announced when he made the choice and everything. But eventually someone's got to run some kind of goal line touchdowns, and someone's got to run the ball at least a little bit in Detroit. And Kevin Smith was a little UPS box. He's not that long ago. David Best probably never going to get cleared to play again. So Mikel LaShore, by default, could end up being a lot of value there. CJ Stewart feeling great last year in Buffalo. After Jackson was out, I do think he will take a back seat to Jackson with Jackson being back. But he's not going to disappear from the offense at that point. So there's still going to be something to that Bills team. I think the Bills are going to run the ball more often. Which is earlier I wasn't big on Fitzpatrick. I think the Bills are going to run the hell out of the ball this year. I think they improve the hell out of their defense, and they're going to look to run the ball constantly. So still has some value there as well. Kevin Johnson is the best wide receiver in football. That's all that needs to be said about that. Andre Johnson, I don't know if he can stay healthy or not, but I think great value where Rick drafted Nate Washington and Greg Little. Both those guys came really late. I mean, with Kenny Britt constantly being, I don't know, probably carted off to jail or to the hospital, Nate Washington's de facto number one there at this point. So he got some big games in the past, so he's still in there. I love Gresham and Kyle Rudolph. All the reports out of Minnesota are this guy is one of the best players they have up there. So, what's up?
I heard you say.
Yeah, my first person, brother. Kyle Rudolph looks great. What Ian Coleman said. Anyway, get them. Now I look at the Portland Trail Blazers. This team's a clusterfuck just like their owner. For reasons great. I didn't understand the move to sell off this year and move towards next year because as Rick said, when you got your Breeze, you're not out of any game because that guy can just put up points. Although that being said, who knows exactly how they're going to take, Sean Payton not being there. Things could change a little bit. Good back quarterback and Roethlisberger though.
Looks like Jones was in on that Saints scandal.
Yeah, he's good. Sorry, I got to have to back up. Marcus, running back. I'm not Bradshaw. I got to agree with Rick there. I think Bradshaw's a good running back, but Jones does look at him with the rainbow / red and blue glasses. I made it a trade-off with this guy this offseason, and he told me Bradshaw's like a top 5 running back, so there's no way he could make that move. And Frank Gore's Mr. Glass, as was mentioned, and then you look at these backup running backs. Yeesh. It makes me puke. Benson, I don't see the Green Bay has to run the ball at all. People say, they got to run the ball sometimes. No, they don't. They got the best quarterback in the fucking league. They don't have to run the ball at all. And Benson is slow and garbage and hitting bears. That's all I got to say about him. Blazers. So yeah, the running backs are pretty much garbage. Colston, hurt. I think he's good. I don't actually know if he's good. He's tall and Drew Brees is awesome, so he can score points that way. Brandon Lloyd, for years everybody's been talking about this guy's got the best hands in the NFL and blah blah blah. But he's only had one season where he really put up those kind of numbers. And ever since then, Jones has pretty much thought that Brandon Lloyd was second, maybe to Calvin, possibly the #1 receiver in the history of football. Yeah. He also drafted Chase Johnson. Doesn't even play in 4 years. It probably won't be picked up by anyone. So good pick there, Jones. You fucking moron. Reggie Wayne, that was actually a good pick. I'll give you that one. Nelson Floyd, this guy is almost as much as Marcus Colston. So congratulations on picking a bunch of riddled receivers and a guy who's not in the league. You fucking suck. Jared Cook, hey, that was a good pick. And Fred Davis, that was a good pick. You picked them in reverse order, like I believe Rick mentioned at the draft. Somehow you got them both. And your kickers and defensive guy like you. Norwood Knuckle Jugglers, they got Philip Rivers, Andrew Luck. I agree with Rick. Rivers probably takes a step back this year. Although the injury to Matthews, I don't know what they're going to do on offense, but they were all about running the ball, and now supposedly they're going to be running some kind of triumvirate running attack until Matthews gets back. The guys that the Chargers went out and picked up, I thought Robert Mitchell was going to be a great receiver when he came to the NFL. He was tall, fast, had all the intangibles. And then I remember he showed up to camp like 20 pounds overweight, and it's been that way this guy's whole history. So I just don't know, other than Gates, what weapons Rivers has to throw to, which, that's the problem. But, who knows? After this year, Andrew Luck might be the knuckle jugger's quarterback of the future. I didn't want Sproles on my team, but he's worth a gamble, and he is a starter in this league. And even if he's not, that Ridley pick was big. Fuck you, O'Mara. I really wanted Ridley on my team. And he even went out and backed up Ridley with Green, so I don't not the Patriots run the ball that much, but Ridley can almost touch on the garbage thing else yet. He has a better chance of turning in a better rushing game to boot. Jordy Nelson, yeah. I probably shouldn't have traded that guy. I gotta agree with Rick. Probably a mistake there. Although I'm not down on Vincent Jackson as he is. Jordy Nelson, all the talk out of Green Bay is Jordy Nelson's bowing everybody. He's gonna get more plays this year than he has in the past. Jimmy Macklin, through Omar's efforts and giant ribbon, is somehow still alive. He plays for the Steelers right on. Torrey Smith was a guy. I thought Omer got great value where he got him. He's #1 receiver and possibly starting the making. Michael Floyd might be an interesting pick. We'll see. Michael Finley and Brandon Pettigrew. Somebody's got a tight end injury. I think they'll be knocking on O'Mara's door for one of those guys. Brandon Pettigrew. Obviously Kevin Johnson's the main guy there, but we really haven't solved their question of who the #2 is. Wilson. Pettis Young. They got that rookie from either Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. I can't remember. Ryan Royal. He's in there. He's going to be a guy who's going to catch a lot of passes, but until he's really learned the fitting in the slot, Brandon Pettigrew, he can catch a lot of passes. I think he should improve on that success. defensive game. So Jones is going to miss because he sucks, and it'll be a fight between Rick and Omar for this division. I think Rick's got the better talent on top, but Omar's got a deeper team. If Rick stays healthy, Commitment wins this division. If Rick has an injury to Darren McFadden or Calvin Johnson, no one's going away. What are you doing?
This is your division, Joe.
Yeah. I guess I started the commitment to excrement. Matt Ryan, that's just a solid pick for him. I think that just kind of worked out real well in the draft. Your biggest question mark there is running back. I mean, you got an infirmary over there. I mean, if you can get anything resembling a solid season of some combination of two guys, I think you're the favorite in this division. You just got to hope these guys get injured on different weeks from each other. I think it goes hands down. You got the best receivers in the league. I think Calvin and Andre are 1-2 in the entire NFL. So that right there is going to win you a lot of ball games. Gresham, definitely a fan. And, you got some... It all comes down to the running back. It really does. Bradford, that team just kind of still looks shaky, unfortunately. I liked him. I really did. I thought he was going to have a big year along with Rick last year, but it just never happened. The Nuts jugglers, I just see, I see a very deep team, but I see nobody that stands out to me. In this league, you need a little luck. In order to get that, you need one stud guy who's just going to single-handedly carry you, just for a win or two. And that's the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. And, just in our division, Rick Scott, the Johnson's that wide receiver. I got Drew Brees even, he can win me a game by himself, but I just don't see him having that player. I think he's just got 6s, 7s, and 8s across the board. I don't see any 9s or 10s there.
Excellent point, Ken. He's got no star power.
But, as far as me, hey, I made no secret of what I was doing here. I got a lot of draft picks coming next year. And, Drew Brees, hey, he's got to win me some games just by himself. And, he's got to throw to somebody, so, hey, why not be that Colson guy? If they just hook up a few times, that can just win me a couple of games right there. I mean, and, it depends how I'm looking this year, with all those draft picks, I could swing a pretty meaningful trade for a stud player there. I mean, I guess if I crystal ball and, assuming no trades, I would hope to keep, Brees, Bradshaw, and then maybe a Brandon Lloyd, and, maybe a Jared Cook. And, I think this Ryan Williams kid is a real big wild card for me. I really liked him coming out of the draft last year, and I think Beanie Wells is just a bum. So, hey, if I'm hanging around here in the middle of the season, I'm going to use those draft picks and get me that stud guy to maybe put over the top, But as it is right now, it's tough to argue on the third best team in this division, but I'm going to be hanging around, I got to think. But I think it's Rick's to take if he can get any sort of season out of his running back position.
My quick take is that I for the most part agree, but I think Mara's team is actually the most overrated team in the league. It's as overrated as he is attractive. I don't understand this love of Hardesty, Ridley, Carter, Vereen. They played 5 combined seasons and have had one good game in them all. You've got Nelson, Jones, and Finley, 3 Packers. That's too many Packers. I don't care how good that offense is. Macklin is worthless. So Torrey Smith is a good pick. Action is iffy. I do like his kicker and defense. I don't like Rivers at all. Further, I think it's going to be if he has a good year, it's his last good year, and I don't think it's going to be that good. And New Orleans has issues. So I got O'Mara as the most overrated team in the entire league. But pretty much everything that's been said about Rick and Jones is on point. And now to the last division, the most vocal division in the league, the dark meat.
Start me. I guess we'll go off that. Start with the instigators. You got Mike Vick at quarterback, and never mind. I'll have the alligator dog. Me too.
Well, you just tell me what movie you want to see.
Hey Ron, let's get this part out. The alligator dog. Well, I can tell you the alligator dog instead. They traded for Tom Brady in the offseason. They made a great trade there. think they backed him up with Josh Freeman as a solid backup. I think he might take a step back forward. He took a big step back this last year. And I know there's a lot of people that don't believe in black quarterbacks, but, you know, occasionally someone's going to make it through. Arian Foster is an absolute stud, obviously. Wilson Gagey, you've got to fight off Father Time, but we've got some interesting backups. Sean Green, interesting in some other leagues. I think in our league, Sean Green is not a guy you want because Tim Tebow is going to be taking all those short carries. So, yeah, Sean Green might, you know, get a bunch of 70, 80-yard games. But touchdowns, he's going to have from at least 15, 20 yards out. He's not getting anything at the time. Marvin Hillman's an interesting pick. See a lot of Broncos on this team. It's almost like the owner had a certain agenda with drafting Broncos. I'm not sure about that. I think he picked Ben Tate at just the right time. That was a great draft pick for him. I feel Ben Tate is the most important handcuff guy you can have in fantasy football right now. He's proven that if Foster goes down, he can separate in and put up more numbers. Yeah, I'm personally not a big believer in handcuffing, but if I had Arian Foster, I would handcuff him with Ben Tate. He did a great job there getting him worked out. Roddy White and Victor Cruz is a great he's starting. It's not the best in the league, but it's definitely up there. It's one of the better ones in the league. Problem that not so pretty. Flexible Burris is still looking for a job. Given this, he's tall. Anquan Bolden, he just hasn't. He was great with Larry Fitzgerald, but ever since he stopped playing with Larry Fitzgerald, not really doing much. Jerome Simpson, going to be playing for a new team, has never been that impressive, and I believe he's suspended because that guy's constantly smoking weed. Eddie Royal, he had that big game, first time to the scene, but other than that, we haven't heard much from Eddie Royal in years. I don't see that the relocation thing needs to go. Might do wonders for getting to hang out in the weather, but I don't see him doing anything for his football career. I think of Tammy, you know, he's a 50, you know, got him later. He's a good player. In the past, he can put up points, but we don't really know whether to get out Peyton Manning yet. So, with Peyton Manning's fate, along goes Chicken Tammy. Kellen Winslow's garbage. He's going to be playing in Seattle now. He's a moron. He'll probably be arrested tomorrow. He's a thug. Maybe he'll fly off his motorcycle and crack his head open. Who gives a shit? Look at the defense. Fuck him. Okay, now years that I tried to talk about earlier. Mike Vick, good quarterback. A lot of there, you know, put up a ton of points. He can jack off and do nothing. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. I find it hard to believe that he'll be able to do better than what he did last year. He might be able to duplicate what he did last year, and to me, just by duplicating what he did last year is a good step. He performed way beyond what most rookies in his situation, and he's not physically gifted like Andrew, and he looks a lot like Andy Corsione, so he doesn't really have a lot going on for him. Jake Locker was not so great. He doesn't have that going on for him. He wants to be Boba. Jake Locker, I think he wins that job and he'll back. Probably gets Jake Locker could be an interesting play there. Steven Jackson, I like this guy. I think he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. I think he's been awesome for years, and he's just been there stuck on his bad team all these years, being the lone bright spot. But he misses. He doesn't get to score a lot of touchdowns. In fact, I think he's one of the most physically gifted running backs in the NFL. But he is like 29 years old now. He's got a lot of mileage on him. He came in the NFL at 20. He didn't get a lot of carries that rookie year, but ever since then he's been getting carries. So to try to get him thin on Steven Jackson, I like him, but I just don't know that he's going to put touchdowns on a team like the Rams with a lot of question marks. Isaac Redmond, I definitely thought this was a reach for being took him in the 8th pick of the first round. Redmond could be good. I think the Steelers are going to pass the ball a lot this year. Everything I've been hearing about the Todd Haley system seems to involve a lot more passing than people originally thought. So Redmond could be good, but I don't know. It was definitely a game. Evan Moister seems to be leading the pack in Washington right now for the running backs, but I don't know. That's always a quagmire getting into a Mike Shanahan backfield, but I know Dave loves diving into that quagmire. He's done it many times. Sometimes you come up with pearls, sometimes you come up with fish. Jacquizz Rodgers, I heard good things about this guy. Supposedly Mike Smith thinks this guy could be a three-down running back. I liked him in college. Always thought he was great up there at Oregon State. But he's tiny. He's really tiny. And I personally don't think he can be a three-down running back. I think he's a great third-down running back. And that's all the love to be in the NFL. Guys like Darren Sproles, they have that flash in the pan year. They usually don't repeat it. I did everything I could to convince Dave that I really wanted this guy. I put it out there as many times as I could to try to get Dave to take him as early as I could take him. And I think I succeeded. I think Dave reached a little bit because I did. Nate Jackson. I would never want this guy on my team. I think he's dog shit. I think he's an asshole. I don't say nigger a lot, but this guy's a straight up nigger. Taxi Nix, love this guy. I hope he's still the injury. And I hope that after Dave's season with a lot of losses, I can somehow get a trade done and get Hakeem Nix back on the Hooligans, back into the winning ways. Pierre Garcon and Johnson Baldwin, I like those picks. Even though it's not bad. Wide receiver, I hate Dave's second wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson, but Pierre Garcon is 3, and Baldwin possibilities is 4. They're not great picks there, but there's some gamble on. Jimmy Graham, I think he'll be the best tight end in football this year. I don't know who's playing quarterback. There's a Skelton, there's a Cobb. Doesn't matter. Larry Fitzgerald's the only real weapon they got. He's the only guy you can really count on. Rick, and that's all I'm going to say about Bean again. Kickers, defensive, clear. Then I look at my own team, the Hooligans. I see the same problem on my team that I see with O'Mara's team. No big star power. I traded in the offseason. I traded away Eli Manning. I traded away Rob Gronkowski. I traded away Jordy Nelson. Those were, I believe, the top 3 scoring players of the Hooligans championship team last year. Sounds sweet. I did all that, and, after I did it, I just realized, didn't Auburn just do this the year before, trade away all the players that you win a championship and then look like dog shit the next year? But saying that, I do think I'm a better owner and better drafter than Ian Colvin, especially better drafter. Eli Manning, he's not a top tier guy, but I think he's in that middle 6 to 8 group at quarterback. Robert Griffin, basically, see what he can do early and trade big data. I like the possibilities of DeMarco Murray and Doug Martin backfield, but that's all it is at this point is possibilities. They could be next year's 2 top 10 running backs, or they could be, in the 20 to 30 range. And if that's the case, I'll be in the lottery next year. Boyd Halou, it was worth a shot to pick him up. I don't like to dive into that Shanahan backfield, but where I got him, I thought it was value for how late it was. Jonathan Stewart was definitely a pick I made based on the fact that I got a jersey in my closet. Javid Fast, total flyer on the guy to see if he gets healthy before our cut date. If he's not, by then he gets cut. There's nothing gained, nothing lost. Javon Ringer, basically that's just a fuck you to Colvin. Mike Wallace, he's asking the camp. I don't know if he's going to do it. It sounds like he's going to do it soon, but hopefully he can get to camp and play hard and Vincent Jackson, some people are really down on this guy. I think he could actually be good. Everything I've been hearing from Tampa Bay about Vincent Jackson is very positive. He's being a leader. He's being this and that. And I can't think of the fact that he's 6'5". There's not a lot of tall, big guys there to take touchdowns. So red zone wise, he should be the guy. And even if he's not, I'd draft Percy Harvin, the first pick in the second round. I didn't hide it at all. I like Percy Harvin. I thought people were down on him. I think he is a game-breaking receiver. Now he's being a little pussy and complaining about his migraines. Apparently he took his Midol or whatever it is to get rid of those things because he didn't have any migraines last year, played 16 games. Christian Ponder was a rookie quarterback, but in the last 6 days they played together, he scored 6 or 7 touchdowns, had over 600 yards receiving. Put up big numbers. Basically, he put that on the whole season. He finished in the top 3 wide receivers. So I love my pickup with Harvin. Quick, if he pans out, he pans out. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Very safe with Bay. I like that guy. Everybody laughs when the Raiders picked him, and rightfully so, because they picked him way too early. Another pick by just getting speed and speed only. He's worked hard, and it seems like he actually wants something in the NFL. So, and with Carson Palmer there, they actually have a legitimate quarterback. Maybe they can actually have a coach for 2 years. That'd be something. But they could turn out to be worth something. Or Robinson, that's the end of the draft. I took you guys. I wanted Jason Witten. He fit in with my draft plan. I got him. It worked out well. Michael Benefic, or Martellus Benefic was a homer pick. I had him in mind all the whole time to be my backup tight end, but I should have just waited longer on him. Nobody was going anywhere for him. Kickers and defense are great. I think Steamboat's got the true star power in our division, and he should probably win the division this year, as much as I hate to say it. I think Dave probably missed the playoffs, and I get in as a wild card, but I think Steamboat's one of the top 3 teams in the league, and unless Tom Brady gets injured, just like the last time I traded him to Sweden, like in this season.
All right, I agree with a lot of what you said about the division. Real quick on Sweden, I don't think the team does have a lot of depth. Tammy is a risk. I think it'll pay off for him. Just because St. Manning is a creature of habit and we can have that comfort with him. But when it comes down to it, he's the best team in this division because he's got those 3 elite quarterbacks and then drop off. He's got one of those 3 quarterbacks. He's got the best running back in fantasy right now, and he's got 2 top 10 wide receivers. And really, after that, I don't think it really matters because none of those guys, maybe Foster a little bit, are really injury prone. So I think it's like you said, he's got a ton of star power. Kate, they should have targeted their backup QB. Vic's too risky. Schaub was out there for a while, and I don't know who they were taking instead, but Schaub's a gate guy, and he should be on this team because Vic, guy gets hurt. Banged his thumb in the first preseason game. Steven Jackson is outstanding, and I don't think the 30-year-old running back rule is going to apply to him. He has a hyperbaric chamber at his home. He like ridiculous workout and stuff, and running back, and I hope history remembers how good he is. But I don't think it will. Redmond started running back for the Steelers. I was taking him too early, but I think that's a good pick. I like that he backed up with Wyatt because I actually like the Ravens in Iowa. Royster, I think mid-season is going to have that starting job in Washington. Was he at Georgia Tech? Yeah, Georgia Tech. I don't think it's Sean Green. Royster is a good pick, and yes, I love him too. Jackson, huge play potential, but guys, 160 pounds, so trying not to get killed. And I think this is awesome, and I love the Garcon pick. That was my favorite pick by the instigators. I thought the Garcon pick was excellent. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those top 2 gets hurt and he doesn't miss a beat. And I agree, Jimmy Graham's going to be the best tight end fantasy this year. I don't think it's going to be close. I think he coordinates for the whole summer, figuring out how to ways to stop Gronkowski, and since Colston's such a shithead with double microfracture surgery and Jimmy Graham's the number 1 receiver, you can't just play tight end. And Hooligans, I like their quarterback, wide receiver, and just ball shows up. You know what I mean? That's a big difference. So Vincent Jackson could be a number 1, and Harvin's a good number 2 if he's your number 1. And I like the draft pick quick. I think you should hang on to him on his regular roster. Witten's a great player. And Martellus Bennett is a fucking dumb, and that was a homer pick that you said yourself, so I won't harp on it. And the running back situation, I hate, Jason Garrett is just a fag. He won't run the ball, even if Murray's averaging 10 yards a carry. he's just a homer. He won't call run plays because he's a quarterback. And Martin, you know, you don't know what Schiano's going to be like. And Freeman 2 years ago was a great quarterback in Tampa Bay, but last year he sucked. So what's going to be in year 3? I think that's risky. And Lou, like I said, I think Royster's going to be the starter. But Stewart, I think that'll be a value pick. I think Carolina will be drastically better. Cam Newton won't be running as much because someone will fucking tell him, hey, dickhead, we're paying you too much money, and you got 10 other guys to run the ball. So I like the Stewart pick. And just kind of, I'm going to go through my playoff scenario. Okay. Potato South, I like Cracker's Crush to win the division. I like the Seahags for the wild card, and I think the Ship of Fools in the lottery. Potato North, I think with Knuckle Juggers win the division. Kraft makes the wild card, and Lasers are in the lottery. Chick-fil-A White Meat, I think Chaos win the division. And I think both the Alton brothers, Impacted Flyers, and probably Ladcocks are both in the lottery. And one more annoying fucking thing Dark Meat to chirp off about is they'll be the only division with all 3 playoff teams. I think they beat up on each other, but they're still good enough to all be 7-5 type of thing and make the playoffs. I think Steamboat wins the division though and gets the check. But I'm going to go on a limb here and say Kaiser plays the crap for the Grady Bowl. Crap wins 3-time champions.
This is ballsy. I like that pick. I like it though.
Jones, what do you got for the dark meat and your overall pick?
All right. The dark meat, I think it's Steamboat to lose. You know, I think his star power up top. I see him just pretty solid across the board. You know, as long as Denver has a good year. But Tom Brady, Arian Foster, and those wide receivers. It's really kind of tough to find too much argument with there. So I got them, and then for the white meat, it's. Radcock, he's looking at wearing the My Mother's a Filthy Horse shirt. That's what I think he's looking at.
Yeah, I'm going to get on that. Yeah, I think Jones edges him out because the potato's a little bit weak. The Jones gets some wins, and I think Radcock's mom is a filthy whore.
Exactly. And, I guess, I don't know. Boy, I just don't really like any of the teams in that fucking division. So, you know what, I'm just putting, Sweeten in the Super Bowl. Potato North, I think it's Rex to lose. I really do. And the Potato South, the Crush, the Hag, the Ship, that's kind of a tough division to call, I guess if Adrian Peterson comes back and there's even 85% of Adrian Peterson, Cream's going to win it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Mike Fisher's coming out of there. And, Brian, he's going to be all right, but I think his quarterback's just going to sink him. He could definitely finish third in that division. So, yeah, I'm putting Rick against Mike Fisher. And, God, Rick, if you had any pride, you'd beat Mike Fisher in that game.
Like that. Weighing in from Kenny Dave and
starting with the meat, I think Steamboat wins the dark meat. I get in the playoffs too. I think Geyser wins the white meat. Radcock's the easy one to just throw him right out into the lottery, and I think he's wearing the Filthy Mom Horse shirt next year. The last spot in the playoffs, I guess, battle between the Caldens and Dave. In the playoffs, I could see Dave actually being the one to miss out on that, the instigators, and then the outside with the Wadcock back in the lottery. In the potato, I got Jones missing the playoffs, but he's fine with that. He's playing for next year anyway. I think both Rick and Omar make it in. And I think Soy Fisher wins that other division. And I think Soy and the Ship of Fools. I'll take Cream to get back in the playoffs, but Cream will be a wild card. Soy wins that division. As far as in North, I never called a winner there. I guess I'll say Commitment, but barely. It's going to be barely. It's Knuckle Jugglers, Commitment. I'll say Soy goes through the potato though. I just think he is head and toes above the rest of them. He makes the gravy bowl, where I think he will play. I think he'll play the Alligator Dogs in the Super Bowl. And the Dark Meat will bring home another title, and the Alligator Dogs beat up Soy in the gravy bowl.
Just putting on the Dark Meat, that will lead to my overall prediction. I think similar to what I think about Omar in the potato, I think about the Alligator Dogs in the meat. I don't think that this team is on the level of the top two teams like a lot of other people think. He has 4 good players come into the draft. I think he's got 4 good players coming out, like Jones said about my team. He's got too many Broncos. I don't like any of his backups in any position. I don't like Willis McGahee, and I'm going to make a prediction that Arian Foster 2013 is like Chris Johnson, or 2012 is like Chris Johnson's 2011. I think he's going to have a big fall off this year. And so with that, I don't have the Gator Dogs winning that division. I do have them making the playoff. If Dave would have made better picks with the first 2 picks of the draft, the ones we've talked about a lot, I would have picked him. But I think I'm going to pick Smoney to win that division mostly by default. The Gate missed the playoff barely behind the Dogs. The other meat, I got guys are easy. I have the Flyers in the playoffs, and obviously the Blackhawks the worst team. One of the worst. The Blackhawks, by the end of the season, we'll be debating whether real Blackhawk ranks as the 2 or 3 worst teams in the history of this league. The rest of in the playoffs, I got guys are coming out of the meat. In the potato, I got Soy winning that division, and Cream making the wild card. Jags in the lottery. My other upset is that I got this in the playoffs and Jones getting in just because he's going to keep him in 3 times. Cream's going to win that division, and then Soy's going to win the potato but lose to Geyser in the championship.
Wait, you got Cream and Soy winning?
No, I got Soy winning the division, Cream making the playoffs. I got Soy winning making the title game out of the potato against Geyser and losing.
Who you got for the St. North team? I think that's
Rick.
Okay. Basically, with exception of Wagcock, where I have it having about a 2-10 season, I think pretty much the league is basically 6-6 across the board, and then it's like, what do you do to make your team? Number one, I think it's about 2 things. What stars do you have in your team that are good for that win, like Jones say, with that Drew Brees, and then who your owner is, and like Mike said, who's going to make that move to get you that extra win. So basically, after Wagcock's 2-10, it's basically who's 7-5, who's 5-7, and basically who's in the playoffs and stuff, who makes those right moves. So I personally think the Alligator Dogs are the best team in the league because they have the best star power. Yeah, I think their owner is pretty fucking shaky, and he doesn't ever make moves when he needs to in the season. He's going to make great moves in the off season, but I think that his stars are all outside of the 1 freak year Brady should be healthy. I disagree. I think Fosh is the best player in fantasy. White's usually pretty healthy. Cruz down the line. I just think he's not going to have health problems, so he's not so much going to need to make moves. I just think he wins. The Dark Meat has to get the best team. I think Smutty and I are both looking at 6-6. I give him the edge to get into the playoffs because I think he's the better owner, and I think I once again go into the lottery at 6-6. And then in the White Meat, I think Geyser's a good team, but I think he's a horrible owner. I think he has Geyser Flyers win at 7-5, take a tiebreaker over the Chaos and win the division.
And not to mention, I think both those guys are at 7-5 because they get those extra wins because they get 3 wins against Wagcock that the Dark Meat isn't going to get. So those two will coast in the playoffs, and the Dark Meat team will get screwed out of the playoffs, which will be me. And then basically, I think the thing with Geyser, like I said, I think he's a shitty owner. I don't think he's going to know who to start. He has so much talent in the team. It's like, which one did he pick? But I think by week 12, those things will iron themselves out. And I think the Geyser makes the run to the gravy boat out of the meat. And then in the potato, I think you don't have that whipping boy like Brian Fisher was last year. And if anything, Brian Fisher's probably the strongest team. I think he whips up on the Sea Hag and Ship of Fool. And I think they're going to be both at 5-7. And because they're going to lose that one-game tiebreaker with the Potato North, I see the Ship of Fools and Sea Hag not making the playoffs, and the Potato North getting all 3 in with Rick winning the division and Jones taking last. Like I said, this is all going to be one game. It's going to be tiebreakers. I think all 3 Potato North making it. Because Jones does have, but Jones has the star power. He's a good owner, and he has those picks to make a move. Even though his team, I think, is below Rick and Omar, I think he's a good owner. I think he'll make a move. I think he smells the playoffs and gets in. And then in the, I see Rick representing the Potato, just because I think he had a better team than his record last year, but he didn't have a quarterback all year. And when you're in a quarterback league and you're not getting quarterback points, it's pretty rough. But I think Matt Ryan is going to be pretty good. In fact, I think he'll keep Matt Ryan. And I think he gets to the gravy boat against Geyser, but I think Geyser is steamboat at that point. He wins the gravy boat.
Gravy boat to steamboat.
Hey, Junior. I was good at high school.
I'll start with, start off with the potato. I think that, I do think that Norwood, Austin, Gunther, Smith, and Jones all 3 make playoffs. I think Ryan does come out of the potato division. I think that Rick will go on past everybody else to the gravy bowl. Dark Meat, I'm going with sending all 3. Guys are coming out of the Dark Meat. And the guys are always seem to find a way to beat me, so I think the guys are good.
All right, well, we will see in about 4 months whose predictions come the closest. Hope you enjoyed this one. Later.
Yeah, good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so